Welcome back, everybody, to another patch notes breakdown. This time we have the 10.10 bonus balance for you going live on October 10th. And we have one new skin this time around. It's going to be the new Mulan skin, which will be Hell Fury Mulan. And then we have a variety of nerfs across the board. Going to be pretty short this week, but all of these are things that we've seen kind of running our games and just need some slight tweaks to, bring them down a notch. And that's going to start with Bountiful Bow. We're going to see that get a decreased cooldown reduction from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. This has been one of the best things to cook in the game. If you're not cooking, you got to get to cooking. You're probably cooking Bountiful Bow or gooseberries. I have seen a little bit more Party Punch and Sturdy Stew and the like, but Bountiful Bow we've seen a metric ton of, so not too surprised to see this nerf coming through. And along with that, we've seen in the starter item, as far as upgrades go, Compassion being the outlier amongst them all. They're going to decrease the damage decrease the mitigation from the passive from 15% to 12%. I think this is needed. We've seen this item do a lot of work here for supports and really just be good overall. Just taking it down a notch will be kind of nice. Make some room for those other items that are in the starter area. Shoutouts to War Flag. Love seeing that more often now. Flameforge Hammer, the glyph of Runeforge Hammer, is going to get increased damage taken debuff on enemies from 10% to 15%. Pretty much our only buff this patch. And I'm excited to see that. I think Flameforge Hammer isn't built a lot. I'd like to see more Flameforge Hammer. So keep an eye out. Maybe see that more often in your games. But then we're going to hop over to the God nerfs here. Aries getting a partial revert on Shackles. They're going to have an increased cooldown. It was a flat 13 seconds. It's now going to be 15, scaling down to 13. And Searing Flesh decreased the maximum health damage to minions from 5% to 4%. Aries has been a kind of top pick, top ban in that area, depending on the type of comp you're running. At least since the buffs came through the past couple patches, I'm not surprised to see Aries take a little bit of a nerf here. He is very, very good in the right hands, and in the other hands, he's still just good. So not too surprised by this. Great Breeds Burn God. They need to punish it on other areas, so it makes sense. Athena, another god that's been top pick, top ban, and played in multiple roles as of late. They're going to see a Defender of Olympus nerf, decrease the base damage from 350 to 670, now 340 to 640 scaling. It's just a slight little damage knockoff there, and then decrease the mitigations from 35% to 30%. Again, just turning those knobs a little bit down. Not anything just critical. It's just going to absolutely obliterate her kit, but just a nice little change in general. And then Turnab Bog, a god that definitely needs to be looked at. Basically one of the top ADCs as far as the hunters go. Not the mage ADCs, just the hunters. We'll take a look at mage ADCs in a second. Crystallized Curses, they're going to decrease that slow by 5%. Now going to be a 20% slow. And then Living Nightmare, they're going to decrease the clone slow from 4% per stack to 3% per stack, and decrease the movement speed buff from 25% to 20%. Both these things are really, really needed. I've played against Turnab Bog in comp as of late. We've seen him all over the game. My solo laner has talked about, hey, I don't even care about Turnab Bog on a bad player. I care about his, ult. His ult slows me down in a team fight. It's really, really useful. Make sure to take that down a notch. So even if Turnab Bog's irrelevant in the game, the ult does a lot as far as the team fight goes. So seeing that taken down a notch is going to be good. We have a Freya nerf. They're going to make the Valkyrie's Discretion have 10 seconds more cooldown. So it's going to go from 90 to 100. The most recent god to Smite, Manan, is going to see several nerfs here. And if you played against a very, very good Manan player, you will know that you're in for a bad time. You kind of just get obliterated. Soul Spikes are going to decrease the damage cap from 70% to 60% of the target's missing health. Party Trick, they're decrease the damage per tick from 8 to 40, now scaling 6 to 38. In Spirit Seas, they're going to decrease the initial hit damage, scaling from 20% to 15%. Overall, this god released very, very strong. It has a high skill ceiling and a high skill floor on both sides of that. So seeing that they're going to take these nerfs, I think especially to the dot damage, is going to be significant over time. Keep an eye out. We'll see how this ends up tuning out. I still think there might be more nerfs to come from Amon, but I think this is a step in the right direction as far as she goes. Olon, we're going to see Overflowing Divinity decrease the base damage from 70 scaling to 130, 50 to 130. They just want to slow down his early game, take it down a notch. He's been really, really strong in the early laning phase. So let's nerf that a little bit. I think this is a good change overall. Pele, another multi-god, a multi-role god, I guess I should say. Pyroclast decreased the damage scaling from 70 to 60%, increased the cooldown from 14 to 15, and then Volcanic Lightning is getting a revert to increase the basic attach damage reduction from 40% to 50%. We've seen Pele in mid, solo, ADC, jungle, I think anything other than support, so this god definitely is hitting all the right buttons. We got to start nerfing some things there. I think this kind of moves her more towards that jungle solo option other than the others. We'll have to see how that pans out, but Pele nerf here, I expect to see maybe a little bit less of the Pele. And then finally, the last nerf here is going to be Susano. Gathering Storm, they're going to decrease the damage scaling from 40% to 30%. And Typhoon, they're going to increase the cooldown from 90 seconds to 100 seconds. He's another one of those gods that's been doing really, really well. Luckily for Susano, it's only been in jungle for the most part, a little bit mid, but these two changes will tweak him down a little bit, make him more even with the other assassins, and help some others rise up. So, if you're watching this, I'm curious. Are you happy about these changes? Do you think some other gods should have been, tweaked a little bit? Are there jungle gods now you think are going to become more relevant after these nerfs? Are there ADCs you expect to kind of step up to the plate? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you all have a great day, and make sure to check out Up Your Experience podcast or the live broadcast over on Twitch.